Good morning again. It's the 19th of September. I feel compelled to bring you another video. Solar system's working good, so I've got the Wi-Fi box connected so I can upload things at a faster rate than the regular cell phone speed. That's one of the things I like about having that service. It's a separate Wi-Fi box from the cell phone. Although I'm cheap and I'd like to just do away with that and just have one of these tracking devices, in my coach or in my house. I got a Wi-Fi connection in my damn air purifying system, air filtering system, and I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to take it back because it's got the circuitry in there, and I don't want it because I don't want things spying on me. But I've also got Wi-Fi was in my shunt that got burnt out somehow, and I got Wi-Fi in the solar power controller as well. So I don't know if those can be used to spy upon me, but of course everything can be used to spy upon you, and we've got advanced technology in the country today. We've had this for quite a while. They can actually take a device, it's kind of like it's a gun. They can aim it at the glass windows in your house, and they fire this thing off, and it records. It makes a recording off the glass. And what do? They take the gun, the instrument, back to the lab, and the Army has this. The Army's used this device against the people in this country for probably 30 years. 30 years they've been able to do this. And they can decode every conversation that was said in that house from that glass and the image that they take from the glass. So in other words, the glass is a crystal and it's a recording. It records everything. And they know how to decode it. And so they can go by your house, aim at the window, pull the trigger, go back, and they can decode all of the conversations inside that room. Why am I bringing that up? Because our Army has been using those devices on us for 30 years. Yeah. In Alaska, we had a fellow up in the valley who was doing that. And not only that, but the gun that he used also told how much cash was in the house. You know, those platinum latex strips that go across the bills? Those can be read by satellites. That's right. It's a platinum latex chip, but it's a strip, and it's in the bill so that they can track everything and everyone. Okay. The main purpose of this video right now is to tell you that freedom in America has failed, absolutely failed. We have not guarded our freedom. We have pissed it away. We have lost our freedom. And of all things, freedom in Russia has succeeded. They have adopted and embraced our principles, at least the principles we had going through the 50s and maybe into the 60s, but certainly into the 70s is when our government went haywire on us. 1974 is the year when everything went to hell in this country. So what I'm getting at is that President Richard Milhouse Nixon, Tricky Dick, there's a video in which he says that the big problem is that he points out a few things, but I think he points out some fallacies. He was a pretty daggone intelligent man. He understood a lot of stuff. Matter of fact, I have a friend who used to be friends with him, actually. And so I'm hoping to hang out with him again. He's upset because I was interested in his wife introduced me to her daughter. I guess wanted me to pair off with her daughter, and her husband was pissed off at me because his daughter was too young. And I'm like, okay, well, daughter is a bit young for this old man. I admit that right now. But I think today she's like about ready to I think she's 40 years old today, so it's like, come on, man, that ain't like being a pedophile. Don't tell me that. In a certain sense, okay, I understand. We don't have the same history, we're not the same cohort. We haven't been through the same. We didn't experience the same culture, the same historical things, and so the conversations won't be as good, as deep, and as rich. Of course, she didn't want to talk much, and her mother kept interrupting our conversation, so we didn't get to talk to each other. But she thought I was too old as well, and that's okay. It really is okay. I love it when women unselect themselves. It saves me a lot of trouble. So, man, do I get derailed easily, huh? Richard Milhous Nixon said that Russia has always been imperialist. Well, the Russian Tsar was the richest man in the world at the turn of into the 20th century. From the year 1899 to the year 1900, the richest man in the world was the Russian Tsar, and he inherited it. It was legal, it was lawful, it was proper, and he controlled approximately 1/6 of the world's resources at the time. He was the richest man on the earth, and he was from the line of Israel. He was a proper man, if you will. He was of Israelite stock. And Richard Milhous Nixon will tell you they've always had this bent towards imperialism. Well, actually, they got interrupted. The Tsar was busy trying to change and transition his country over when we sent, yes, America sent the Bolsheviks over. We sent the Jews from New York City over there. Of course, they changed their names. They rode in a sealed-up railroad car. They took gold with them. They were financed by our big banksters here. And so Richard Milhous Nixon said that I need to watch that little short video again on him so I can cite him. But he doesn't quite understand things. He understands a lot. He knew that the Jews were the enemy, and he would not talk openly and disparage them because he knew they would wipe him out. Why? Because Richard Milhous Nixon was a partaker in the Kennedy assassination. Richard Nixon had trained up the shooting team that left Florida to Dallas. And the shooting team was trained up while he was vice president under Eisenhower. He started this assassination team, and they trained him up in the mountains in Mexico. And then they got called to do the job. And everybody went except for one of the shooters. One of their trained shooters did not go to work that day. She said, and she's on video on YouTube, that she just didn't get a good feeling. It didn't feel right to her. So she left. She didn't go. And a few hours later, she got a call from her boss. What did her boss tell her? You should have been there. We killed the president. Yeah, that's what she says on YouTube. They'll scrub that now that I've told you about it, because they monitor everything that I say and do, because they want to cover their tracks. So Richard Milhous Nixon, whenever he wanted to talk about the Kennedy assassination, talked about it in code, because he was one of 6, now 7 presidents who have participated in the Kennedy murder and its cover-up. Yes, Eisenhower knew the assassination was going to occur in advance. Richard Milhous Nixon probably knew in advance. Lyndon Baines Johnson, hell yeah, he knew in advance. President Gerald Ford, he was the last survivor of the Warren Commission that covered up the Kennedy assassination. Yeah, he knew the truth. And your current presidents know the truth as well, because it's speculated that when the man is sworn into office, the people in the black suits with black ties show up with a briefcase. And some people think, well, it's the money, it's the payoff. Others say, hey, no, they're showing the Kennedy assassination from another angle to let them know that we can do that to you too. And maybe they're showing even what happens to family members. And we can do that to your family too. So I don't know whose side Trump is on, to be honest with you. Do you? Freedom is going gangbusters in Russia right now. Freedom is dead in America. We have no freedom. You have been willing to sacrifice your rights and your freedom for security, and you've lost both. You don't have either one. And so, in order for us to be a free people, we have to have the militias. Without our militias, we're never going to be free. And they never intended there to be a government-only militia. It was a militia of the people, by the people, for the people. And that's why when I tell you, dumbasses, you don't have a Second Amendment, and, oh yeah, I got my guns. That's not your Second Amendment. Your Second Amendment is your policing power. All policing, all policies, all policy making, all policing was reserved to the states. It's in the Constitution. You should read it too. But only go as far as the 12th Amendment, because they changed it at the 13th Amendment forward. All that's illegal as hell. That they're trying to tell you is the Constitution today. It's not legal. And I have for years on Facebook been telling people what needs to happen and where we got screwed up. And people started just carrying it around, bannering it around. And I'd ask them, where did you get that from? People would say, I don't know. I said, well, you got it from me. And they'd apologize. They said, oh, no, don't you dare apologize. You go with it. You run with it. I don't give a damn how it gets out there. I don't need credit on this one. I am following in the footsteps of Barack Obama, and I am following from behind. Yeah, I have had to plant seeds like that in the distance because I have no influence. I'm not a man of power. Hell, I got defrocked as a psychologist. Basically, they harassed me to the point where I was exhausted, and I didn't want anything to do with them. So I retired my license. They didn't take it from me. I laid my license down like Yeshua laid his life down. Freedom has failed in America, and I'd love to be able to tell Richard Milhous Nixon that we failed and that there's no problem with freedom. And he says if freedom fails, then the Russian imperialism is going to take over the world. Hell no. I don't think he's right about that. Why do I not think he's right? Because it was the Tsar who saved us during our Civil War. The Tsar stationed his navy on the East Coast and the West Coast to protect us from the Rothschilds and the countries they controlled that were going to invade America and divide it up. That's right. The French and the British were ready with their navies to come over here and divide the country up. That's what the whole purpose of the Civil War was. And the Tsar, in his wonderful wisdom, our older brother in Yeshua, I almost said Christ, it's not his right name, it's Yeshua. He protected us. He knew what we were up against. And not only that, during the Revolutionary War, I believe, and I got to get this straight somehow, the Tsar intervened to protect us because he knew what we were dealing with in Europe. And we didn't know. We still don't know. That's why I want to turn the country, you, into Bible readers, so that you will know, so that you will wake up and realize what the hell has happened to the country. This is the communist stronghold for the world. Our State Department has protected communism around the planet. By God, Chiang Kai-shek was going to go invade mainland China from Taiwan. And he had his army. He had the resources. They were going to win. And what did we do? Well, I was engaged to a woman from the southern part of Taiwan. And I met my future father-in-law. And he was a high school teacher. He taught history. And he told me that we intervened and we stopped them. And I really appreciate having known the man and having talked with him. We stationed our 7th Fleet between the island and the mainland to stop Chiang Kai-shek from kicking the communists out of mainland China. And then World War II, the great settlement, the way the invasions occurred and how Patton was held back, and all of that was done purposely to put people behind that Iron Curtain. You know I'm telling the truth. You know I don't know all of the truth. You know that I'm telling you the truth as best I understand it and know it. What do I want you to do? I want you to buy my Bibles. I really want you to buy the proper name King James Bible. I want you to read the Bible. I want you to get other. I don't want you going to church. Big box churches lie. You can go to a little one. I highly recommend you form one. I highly recommend you form a small one. And you're not telling many people about it. Don't tell the Ziotards in the big box churches about your church, because they will hunt your ass down in the future and kill you and think they're doing it for the Lord. We have got to give the world the great reset, the great American reset. We owe it to the world after all we've been doing on behalf of the international banksters, bombing the shit out of everybody to bring them freedom. Bullshit. Bull fucking shit. I used to say bovine excrement on my AM talk radio show because I get away with saying it that way, but I can't speak it like I do here. Other people on their YouTube channels get censored for saying that stuff. But I heard a black guy, he was nigger this, nigger that, and all that. And I said, hell, I'm going to use the word too. You know, and remember, there's a lot of wiggers out there. There's a lot of white niggers too. Just because a guy's got black skin doesn't make him a nigger. Just because a guy's got white skin doesn't make him not one either. None of us knows who we are. You show up in church and you think, my God, I hope I'm a white guy. I think I'm a white guy. I'm going to at least pretend I'm a white guy. Oh, I forgot. You know, Aunt so-and-so, grand, whatever, great, yeah, we got an Indian in the woodpile. Or we got a Negro in the woodpile. Look, all I can tell you is that the people that go to those supposed white supremacist churches, that's what they want to be, that's what they want to label them as. They don't know what the hell they are. And they sit up there all proud and proper thinking they know who they are, and they don't. We're all mixes. Not only that, when you get down to it and think about it, we're all mixes from the previous generations of close to mankind that have been on the planet. And believe me, there's so many species that have existed before we came about. There's so many that existed that if you were to walk down that aisle like I did and take a look at them, you'd be afraid, man. Some of those guys they're pretty mean looking. And we're pretty puny compared to them. I mean, those son of a bitches, whoa, man, I got to walk that ring for a little while. Yeah. I remembered a little bit. And I'm walking down there thinking, what the hell am I doing walking through these guys? And they were up on pedestals like statues, or maybe like being mounted like in a taxidermy, display or something. Or maybe they were just there standing at attention as I walked and passed through them. And believe me, I was scared. I'm not going to take this call. She'll have to wait. We men have to say no to women more often. Yes, I am rather fond of her. The conversations are okay. And yes, there's a hell of an age difference. But, who knows? Maybe she's just a gold digger and I'm getting suckered again. Who the hell knows? And, of course, I don't know. I have no idea. We'll see. What I want you to do is I want you to buy my Bibles. I get a little bit of a stipend off those. I want you to call the number that's down below and tell the publisher, I'm calling up and I want this credit of this sale to go to Dr. Kent. YouTube is not treating him very well and the link doesn't work. He doesn't know how to use it. And that's what her purpose is to help me with that so I can sell some Bibles. Because I want to drive the country, man. And this rig is expensive. It's expensive to maintain and expensive to drive down the road. I bought what I thought would be the cheapest, easier to maintain rig that I could, but they didn't reveal a lot of stuff to me. And it's big bucks. I've been finding some good people, but I've had to actually kiss a few frogs that were frogs, toads or whatever, before I found some princes in the trade. So I don't recommend you buy an RV, but I can tell you who's good. I can tell you some of their limitations, and I can tell you most of them are no good. Most of them are out. The whole country is greedy for unfair gain. Bill, thank you for the text message. Call you in a little bit, sweetie. I got to do my job first. Gets priority. I need your prayers, and you need to pray for yourself. You need to pray that Yahweh would reveal his will for you, to you. Because you got to operate inside of his will. That's the only way that's the only way you're going to get through this. That's the only way we are going to get through this. That's the only way we're going to get our country back, is if we suspend our individual programmed up bullshit. They want to say narratives today. It's all brainwashing. It's all psychological operations. We have to pray to get out of that. Pray to get that suspended. And we have to beg Yahweh, please bless me with the law of life, with your 10 commandments. Please show me the best choice. Right now I got a tough choice to make. Show me the way to go. And if you could actually let me know why, that'd be helpful too. But whatever you do, help me to build this spirit in me so that I know that I'm doing it the way you want me to do it. Because I know you have got the bigger picture in mind and you understand this stuff, and I don't. So it is a leap of faith, but it's also doing at the same time. So those people that say you just have to say the magic words, the hocus pocus, you just got to read the sinner's passage in the New Testament, and that's it. It can never be taken away from you. You can do whatever you want. It's all covered in the blood of Jesus. Come on, man. That doesn't make much sense. I'd like your help in growing the channel. We hit 675 subscribers. It seems like we're picking up a subscriber every day or 2 or 3 days. It is increasing. I haven't even got to the 1,000 level yet. I hit the 666 level and I kept my mouth shut and just held my breath and went to 667. And I'm like going, cool, man. Got past that number. Oh, well, that's the superstition in me. Did you grow? Did you speak? Where are you? Lorraine? We haven't slept very well. She's been on guard duty. I expect she's in the kennel next to me, but I'm looking at it and I can't see her. She's probably still back in the bedroom, sleeping on the rug. All right, good. Folks, I know you want to feel good. You want to feel better about yourself. We all want to feel better about ourselves, and we're too busy. Yeah, I heard you then. You're right there. Still can't see you, but that's all right. So what do? We try to convince our neighbor to do something, and by doing that, we feel like we're superior. Yeah, she's in the kennel next to me. We need to turn inward into ourselves. That's the micro level. And the macro level is we need to turn inward into our own country. We need to reestablish the Second Amendment. You need your militias. You do not need your police. If anything, the police should be responding to the militia. And if the police is in trouble, then we should be tossing our lot in with the right party, the right side, because the police don't always do the right stuff. They are very much oppressive today, and they need help getting out of that too. So really, what we should be doing is supporting a sheriff in particular, and we shouldn't even have a police department. It should be the local militias, and we should be policing ourselves. Well regulated is the key word that's in the Constitution and the Second Amendment in the Bill of Rights, which means you're orderly, which means that you've got somebody above you that has authority over you. And so if you've got a problem, you can appeal to that authority. And you may have authority for some of those underneath you. Me, you know that old stuff, when I die and I go to heaven, what do I want to be? Look, I've always said, I just want to be a street cleaner in the streets of heaven. I just want to push the broom and clean the streets and walk the streets, because I know darn well I'm going to be meeting people left and right all over the place, and I'm going to stop and have a good conversation. That to me is what heaven's about. But if we keep going the way we are, there ain't going to be very many men. And when you find one, you're going to be joyed because you're going to be able to have a conversation. That's how bad the destruction is going to be. Let's help our brothers out, but let's not help them too much. Let's help them so they can get on their own feet and get on track. But we have to turn inward, and we need to get rid of the foreigners that they have put on us here, that they've weighed us down with, that they've enslaved us, because now we're taking care of them instead of ourselves. And above all, remember, that is no longer the promised land. It's the land of Canaan. It's regressed completely back to the old days and the old ways. Those people are best regarded as Canaanites. You want to see an Israelite? Go look in the mirror. Because if you're tuned into this show and you hung out this long, then you're an Israelite. And don't question yourself as if you might be some racial mongrel bastardization mix or whatever it is, It's preferable not to be a mix, but you are what you are. Now, I have to declare that you are, and I am, we are co-creators with Creator Father God, Yahweh of the universe, the source of everything. And unfortunately, we've created some things that we don't manage very well. We fail to father our own children. Remember, it's a patriarchy. It's not a matriarchy. The women have their proper place. I remember when I was a little boy, it was definitely on the pedestal. That's all there was to it. But you have to be willing to say no, and you have to hold your ground, because a woman will do her best to control you and dominate. Remember the missing words in the Bible? And your desire shall be to rule over your husband? That's missing in the Bible. I just filled it in for you. I know. You can say I made it up, but I swear the Spirit gave that to me. And that's what happened. You see, Eve was deceived. And as a result, she became a deceiver. She had these extra powers given to her as a woman for the purposes of keeping the species going, having children. But women cannot raise men. At age 7, they need to leave the women and be with the men. But we men, we're too busy working. We don't want to be bothered. Let the women take care of them. We fail. We fail our sons. And our daughters? Man, we don't have the stats on our daughters. We don't have the studies on our daughters. But I'll tell you this, if we had the stats and studies on our daughters, when it came to divorce and child custody, the mothers would be saying, you'll take the daughters too, because I want them to turn out right. May Yahweh bless. I'd like to be able to tell Richard Nixon, the freedom has failed inside America, but that doesn't mean it has failed inside of Russia. We need to back off and mind our own business. We need to cut off that country of Israel, the spoilers, and the Rothschilds who created that land. The Canaanites, we need to cut them off from all of our funding. And we're going to be fighting among ourselves because every state is contributing millions from their populations, from the people that should be staying right here at home. And we're giving it to that errant, devilish country, that country of demons, the country of Canaanites. May Yahweh bless.